Hi, babe.
Hi.
Alrighty, guys. Well, there's always something going on when you live out in the woods and you freaking got to do everything yourself. So, this thing right here is a GE CSA approved 45-gallon hot water tank. It's electric.
Okay, crank the valve.
And this is a how-to video. So, pay attention. And
we're gonna have a how to organize your goddamn tools shit.
You're the one that just spent the last 45 minutes looking for the friggin' pliers that you won't tell me where you found them, and you're accusing me of losing them. And back to our original programming. When you guys are working on one of these things, this is a 220 unit, so make sure you shut your breaker off first and foremost, because that can be an electrifying experience. Trust me, I know. Also, how we have this one plumbed, we have valves going in and out. So plug all your lines, shut your lines off going in and out. What's going on here is the hot water elements, the elements that heat the water, the heating elements are cooked. We got to replace the elements in this tank. One indicator of that is when the element blows up and fries on the inside, it'll actually throw the breaker. When it kicks on, when the thermostat up here tells it to heat up because it's not working properly, it'll throw the breaker. So here's your temperature control setting. And all your wiring comes from this line here, down into the top of the tank, wires into here, then from here, it goes to here. There's also another set of wires, that a red and a black, that'll run all the way down to the lower element. CP's in my light.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, it's got two elements, one in the bottom, one in the top. The top one usually will last a lot longer than the bottom. But that bottom one, I can guarantee you, is toast just by the corrosion on the outside edge.
Open the valve.
So, I got a hose here. This green hose. I've got it on here. It's on snug. And these tanks all come with a drain. We're going to open that up. And ours, because of our water, I don't know how it's going to drain. Probably not where the fuck. Excuse my French. But, yeah. Also, you got to let some air into the system so that it drains. And this will get messy, but we got really shitty water here at the farm. And there's not much I can do about that, so another thing you can do to get air in the system is crack a couple of taps in your hose. In this case, there, we'll do that. That'll help get some air back into the system too, because the whole system works off of the pressure tank. But we're going to deal with the hot water tank. So I'm going to work at getting this sucker drained out, and we'll bring you guys back in a little bit. There, since I got that open, and I'm holding this lever right here, pressure relief. Now we got water coming out of that hose. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty, guys. So when you get the water down below this point, because this is a hot water element right here. This is for electric hot water tanks, obviously. One wire goes to one side, one wire goes to the other side. It doesn't really matter which goes to which side. Then you could pull the wires off. So, because on my tank, I actually have to hold this pressure relief valve, right? But if I don't want to hold it, what I can do, once the water is low enough, then I can crack this. So water's not coming out this hole, because you're going to unthread the element from the tank. And then you can unthread that, and that allows air into the tank, which allows it to drain a lot better through that hose down here. Now my water is a piece of crap. Excuse me, and there's a lot of crud, I guarantee it, in the bottom of this tank. Now if you're wondering why this is dripping right here, that's because I cracked this open just a little too soon. And some water did drip down, and it's working its way down. And it's going to drip out the bottom here. But yeah. See that? Water. So, now we got to just keep that closed off for a little bit longer. We'll be here for a little bit. There's 45 gallons of water basically in that tank. So we're going to be here for a little bit, draining it down low enough so I can get to the bottom element, because I guarantee that one's really buggered. And since I'm changing the bottom one, I'm going to change the top one. And you can pretty much buy your hot water elements at any general hardware store. And what I'm going with this time is the Giant. Right there. Shaded. Shaded by the phone itself. 4500, 240. Yeah, I bought these way back in 06. How about that? I've had them for a while. But, and on the back side, it'll actually show you how to install these, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And what machines they will and will not work on. It'll label them. But this unit should thread right into my tank. There you go. So it'll fit right in there. Normally, the elements that come with these tanks are only about that long, half the length. So I did some research, and they said the longer the element, the better heating you'll get throughout the whole tank, especially if you got one in the bottom, one in the top. So this is what we're going with at this point, is this guy. I got two of these big bad boys, and we'll get them both in there. Yahoo, yahoo. Not exactly the funnest job, guys, but it's a job that has to be done, right? And if anybody's wondering, yes, this is in my house. The whole water system for the whole farmyard here is all in my house. So this here is our main pressure tank. The water from our deep well pump, underground well, it's pushed all the way up into this pressure tank. And then from this pressure tank, it flows across into that pressure tank. Now that's just for the house, okay? And then from that tank, that big blue tank, it's got another pump, and it goes into the small pressure tank, then through this iron filtration system, then through a water softener filtration system, then to the hot water tank and throughout the house. That's how it works for our house. For the rest of the barn, or the corrals, it's all right here. So I can shut valves off and turn valves on. So to get water back to my barn, it's this one. Excuse me. It's this one right here. For the house, it's that one. And for our one corral that the bulls are being fed in, the big corral, we call it our new corral. it's this one. And that one, since we don't got a water bowl in that corral, it's actually shut off. So yeah, that's how it's done. And this way, if something goes wrong with the pressure tank, or if it's running continuously and I'm in the house, I could hear that clicking, and that tells me that there's something wrong, right? Generally is how that's supposed to work anyways. There, that's up there. Is this gonna drip some more now? You can hear the... Yep. It's still wanting to drip a little bit. But you can hear the air sucking in through that hole. Anyway, I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Alrighty, so there you go. We got the upper element pulled out, and it looks good yet, right? And it's a fairly long sucker too. See that? Not quite as long as the new one that I'm going to be installing, but it's there, right? Excuse me. The rubber on it is a little bit wore, but it wasn't leaking. If I went and put it in now, it probably would leak. But I'm going to hang on to this one just in case as a backup. And for future referencing, right? Because all the numbers are on it right there. If you guys can make that out. That's Cameco 02342. And there. 240, 4500 watt. So, yeah. Same as that one, only this one's a lot longer and doubles back. And back in 06, this brand new element was $22.99. How about that? Cheap like borscht. Cheap like borscht. Okay, we got to get the water, wait for the rest of the water to come out through the bottom. What I could do, maybe I will right now. Phillips screwdriver and flathead screwdriver is all that's required on these things, guys. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect. I already loosened these off. That one's off. And that one's off. So now, when the tank is empty, all I got to do is get my wrench on here and twist him out. They just thread in on this style of tank. I have seen older style tanks where there's a cover similar that looks like this right here. It goes over top the flange, and you gotta thread that. There's screws that hold that cover and hold that flange on, but that's a different style of tank than what this is. So these ones, I like the thread in ones. Sometimes a big ass socket is what's required to get on here to screw that out, or a big pipe wrench, guys. In my case, I was able to get that one out with a pair of water pump pliers. So that's just a smaller pair. Anyway, we'll wait for this to drain. I'll bring you back later when I go to pull the bottom one out. Alrighty guys, so water's basically done running out that end of that green hose. Green hose comes all the way to right here. This tap is fully on. So we take our water pump pliers, we're going to hook it onto here, and hopefully we'll be able to crank this sucker off. I'm not sure if I'll be able to. Usually the bottom one is really friggin' tight, and I'm gonna have to go find a pipe wrench and put it on there, or a big ass socket. Let me get 2 hands on here and try cracking this sucker loose. I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so I couldn't get it off with the pliers, so I ran to the shop. So these, you need an 1.5 inch socket, and then you can crack that sucker free, guys. Now, did he drain all the way or not? Only one way to find out, right?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh, yeah, this one's really buggered up inside because it's catching on the bottom. It broke, and it's twisting. I guarantee it's going to be a mess.
Slow and easy.
Hopefully it doesn't break off on the inside. Oh, CP turned the lights on.
By accident.
Look at that. Look at all the crud in there. That's terrible.
Oh.
And that is why the element fried. Right there. See that? So now we got to get our shop back on a little hose and clean all this crud out from inside.
Here.
And that requires this guy here.
And a woman.
And a woman. It's going to get noisy.
See if that goes on here.
So that goes...
Do you want that hose or this one?
This one I'm thinking.
It's not stiff though.
No, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape that one smaller hose to the end of that and work at getting stuff out. We got to try and get as much of that crud out of there as possible. So we'll bring you guys back once I get it cleaned out. Alrighty, guys. So we got 95% of our junk out of there. Now these tanks on the inside, they're kind of coned. They're coned upward like this, slightly. And also dished this way towards the drain. So most of your garbage, now, see this stuff? That's manganese, and as it hardens, it's all the minerals in the water, basically, right, guys? There's iron, manganese, lots of other shit in our water. So I got little golden nuggets that aren't worth nothing. How's that sound? But I had 90%, 95% of it out of there. Then I added water into the tank through that valve up there, and we're just giving it a little bit of a flush job. I still got some crud in there because it's slow draining. It's blocking this right here, so I gotta get in there, and basically I can save the tank, right, just by getting all the crud out of it, right? And I'm trying not to make a big mess by having the hose on it. So there could be something right at this valve here. What do you do? Anyways, we'll continue working at it. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Alrighty, guys. So once you got your tank all cleaned out, which we do now, finally, it's getting that sucker started. You want to make sure that you're not cross-threading it, right? And then you just thread them back into place. So and my wrench wants to keep slipping off here. So I'm going to get these put back in, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Oakley dokley. So we got them both in. Bottom one's in. I got that valve up there open. We are, oh, excuse me, burp. You might hear it kind of gurgling a little bit. That'd be the water coming into the tank. Now this pressure tank just kicked in. That's our house pressure tank. So we're gonna check here for leaks here right away. Got the wires hooked up. Red on one side, black on the other on the bottom one. And yellow and blue on the upper one here. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure on how this sucker works. One is a maintainer / heater. They're both thermostatically controlled, but one kicks in first, and I think it's the bottom one, and then the upper one kicks in. I think is how it works when required for a quicker heat up. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, guys. I just know how to change the elements in and out, and I've had one tank start to leak on us. This is our second tank since we've been to the farm. This one, I think we got it in, well, I know we got it in 03. And the reason it's our second tank, because our first tank burnt in our house yard fire. So we had to replace it. And I've changed the elements in this sucker now 3 times. Maybe 4 times I've had to change them. So, but yeah, that's how you change them out, guys. It doesn't really matter which wire goes to what side of the element. You got power in, power out, basically, on both sides. So there you go. How to change the hot water tank, electric hot water tank heat elements. Anyway, we're gonna get this sucker all filled up with water and la-di-da. Give us the old thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share the video, and fun. Let's get her done. We'll catch you guys later.